Hi everyone, we are back for the Throne of Glass reading vlog. Now we're on part 2. I actually just got done filming a sit-down video. It has been a minute since I filmed a sit-down video and it just felt so good. But as you can see, I've immediately changed out of that shirt, taken the lipstick off, and I'm back in the comfy spot on the couch. That is my reading spot. Who do we have here? Luna Girl is still around, so it's either my bed or this couch that she spends most of her time, and I'm washing all of my linens, like including the duvet cover, which is always obnoxious, but I'm washing all of that right now, so she's on the couch because her bed isn't made. All right, so I took a couple days off from filming over the weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Today actually started off pretty rough, and I didn't think I was going to film because I was in such a poor mood. Because on the weekends, my husband and I have kind of worked it out that I would try and make as much product as possible on the weekends, especially soap, because soap requires more chemicals, as in sodium hydroxide, aka lye, aka the thing that turns ingredients into soap. And so since I'm handling that, I don't want to do that when my son's around, you know what I mean? And also just like by myself. So anyway, all that to say, I made a bunch of soap this weekend, and one of the batches just did not turn out correctly. I don't even know what happened, y'all. I don't know. Soap making is so much chemistry, and if there's one variable that's off, it throws off your whole batch. And like, it could be the temperature. Did you overmix? Did you undermix? Did you calculate the percentage of your ingredients wrong? Like, there's so much behind the scenes math that goes on in soap making. It's ridiculous. So I was very upset because this morning I tried to like prep one of the things that I had just made so that way they could cure, and it was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. I gave up on trying to do anything with my business today. I have to do a lot of stuff this week, so you'll probably get to see some of that through this reading vlog, but I have just started on the Assassin's Blade. So that's basically all that I have done so far with the reading over the weekend because I was doing so much soap. But let's see, I've read the first short story already, and so then now I'm starting on the second short story of Assassin's Blade. We are continuing on, and I think this vlog will be Assassin's Blade, then it'll be Queen of Shadows, there we go, Queen of Shadows, and then I think I'm gonna do the tandem read. I don't know, we'll see how fast it takes me to get through Queen of Shadows. And then I'm going to have to like download how you're supposed to tandem read this thing. But I think I'm going to do the Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn tandem read. So I think I'll try and fit all of that into this vlog if I can get it all done this week. Whoa, that's a lot now that I just said it out loud. But I don't know, we'll see how far I can get this week. But anyways, I was thinking as I read this first story, I didn't know how badly I needed a Sam and Selena moment until like very recently. So I follow a ton of like accounts on Instagram that do just gorgeous fan art. And one of the artists that I followed, I support their Patreon, and she had a photo of Sam and Selena, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh, I wish we could get Sam and Selena in a story, but we're never gonna. And then I had no idea we were gonna get Sam and Selena in these short stories. So it just started off on all the right notes for me because I finally get a Sam and Selena moment that I didn't realize was missing in my life until now. So all good things are happening right now with the short stories. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do this week. Work. I got a lot of product labeling and website stuff I got to do, and then we're gonna keep doing Throne of Glass. Okay, so I made it pretty far in Assassin's Blade last night. I'm now 66% of the way through, and I've read, oh gosh, am I on the third story? So I've read the pirate one, the assassin and the healer, and then, yes, so I'm currently in the middle of the third one, which is the assassin in the desert or something like that. I've just been really enjoying them, honestly. It's been so good. Like, a lot of the reasons why, again, sorry about the lighting, we're just gonna have to figure out it. We're in my room, it's gray outside, I don't have lights over here, I just have a light over there. So I promise the lighting will get better at some point in this vlog. Normally, I don't love short story collections because a lot of the time, I mean, they do tie into the world, but there's not like an overarching story that we're following through all the short stories. Every once in a while, some things will thread together, but it's not like a common thing that I've encountered in short story collections. But that's exactly what this collection is each short story is leading into the next one, is leading into the next one. And I feel like they're all super vital to continuing with the series, because remember, I've read book 4, but I've not read Assassin's Blade. Like, I never read any of the short stories.
How'd you get down?
What are you doing? I thought I told you to throw that away.
I'm just calling the Paw Patrol.
You're calling the Paw Patrol?
Yes.
Okay. That has been like really helping me. But I feel like if I had gotten these short stories before moving on to book 4, I think it would have just enhanced book 4 the first time around for me. So this is like all unknown territory. I said last night that I didn't know that I was missing like a Sam and Selena moment until I saw some fan art. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm so bummed out that we're never going to get Sam and Selena in the main series. But that's what we're exploring and discovering in these short story collections. The other thing is we get to see how Selena has become the assassin that we meet at the beginning of Throne of Glass, and where we get to see where her training comes from and all these experiences that she's having that has led her to be the cold-hearted person that we find her when she is brought out from the salt mines, right? I'm loving these so much. I'm having such a great time. As far as the 3 are concerned, I think I like them all equally. I really do. Like, I love a good pirate theme. Meeting the young girl in Esterbrook, the girl in the inn, the healer, and then now in the desert. Like, I'm getting small chunks of like all these different fantasy settings that I love and haven't seen much of in Throne of Glass, because remember, we were just in Rifthold, we were just in the capital, but now I'm seeing so much more of this world, and it's so much bigger than what you get in the first 2 books, and I love that. You're seeing that Sarah J. Maas like really put a lot of thought and a lot of time into all of these different like consequences of what the king has done when he took over the magic and when he took over the whole continent. And you're seeing how it affected all of these different areas of the globe, right? So yeah, I'm 66% of the way through. I fully anticipate finishing it today, and then we'll get started on book 4. Yesterday I was doing the laundry, and so, hi puppy girl, that's her spot. She just like, I am the crazy millennial that has a fully black dog, and I still wanted white linen bedding. Hi, lovey girl. So I have to wash it pretty frequently. So she was pretty upset yesterday because I was washing all of the sheets and the linens, and she didn't get to lay down in her spot. Okay, once again back in my comfy spot. I have one of those like L couches, right? So there's the books, and then I've got the chase lounge here. This is the spot. This is the spot. This is the reading spot. So you're gonna get real familiar with this. Anyways, it's election night, and I'm just trying to avoid but also pay attention to the election results. So I'm upstairs hiding, and I'm going to try and finish Assassin's Blade while we wait for the election results. It's always a stressful time. Always a stressful time. The last several presidential elections, I've just felt sick to my stomach with every state that's reported in. And I don't know if anyone else has like also felt that way. It stresses me out so hard. This country sometimes just stresses me out a little bit. Anyways, so I was editing my vlog. That's what I did. I edited my vlog earlier today, so that should already be up. That was last week's vlog. Hooray. And then honestly, I was doing dishes all day. I was doing dishes for soap making. And if you're a maker, if you've ever like made things by hand out of your house, it's the dishes that get to me. So I didn't get any chance to read until this moment, now that my husband's home and Ben is occupied. Hi everyone. So it is officially Thursday, November 7th, and I have you in my office right now because I am editing a video, but I wanted to pop on because the last update that I gave, it was on election night, and I said I'm not going to pay attention to the results coming in. Well, I stayed up till 3, basically until Pennsylvania was called. And then I went to bed, and then I needed the next day just take a day. And I think a lot of us also felt that as well. So I didn't want to continue going on with the reading vlog and just talk about throwing a glass without acknowledging that this happened, that this election happened, and that I had to take some time. I had to take a moment, and I think a lot of people also had to take a moment to feel their feelings. And so I just wanted to take just a brief second and acknowledge that I see you and I'm right there with you. Okay, so I'm in my office because I have a lot of like behind the scenes computer work that I have to do for business. I have to print some labels for my wax melts. I recently designed them and I haven't even tried printing them just yet. And then I'm editing a video. The last week's reading vlog has already gone up, so I'm hoping that I can get this video up by the end of the night tonight. I have finished Assassin's Blade, and that's basically like all I did yesterday was read Assassin's Blade, and then I started on Queen of Shadows. So I'm only like a couple hundred pages into Queen of Shadows. And I just have to say that I have so many thoughts, just so many thoughts about what I read in Assassin's Blade. Oh, welcome to my messy office shop. There's a lot of things happening right now. There's my reading journal that still I'm updating. And then this bench back here is always full of like labels and packages, and then that's all the supplies and all the inventory. But I have a lot of thoughts about what I was reading during Assassin's Blade, and I just feel like how serendipitous, is that the word? Serendipitous that I'm reading the Throne of Glass series during a presidential election. Because, you know, I was on Threads earlier today, and I was on social media just kind of scrolling and seeing what the landscape looked like. And just tons of people are just going, you know, back and forth about how we shouldn't make books political. And other people are like, books are political. Like, what are you talking about? And so I just thought it was good timing, I guess, that I'm reading about overthrowing an empire during a presidential election. Is wild. The thoughts that I was having during Assassin's Blade, I rated that 4.5 stars. I loved it from start to finish. I knew it was going to be sad. I knew it was going to break my heart because this is Sam and Selena. This is us figuring out what happened to Selena before she's sent to the mines. And I didn't cry because, right at the moment of like Sam's death, my son was like right in my face, and I was like, you're ruining the moment. I was like on the verge. I was on the verge. But that was just like, it was like a gut punch. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know that we weren't even going to see him again. I didn't know we weren't even going to see him again. So I had that thought going on. But the other thing that I was thinking about was I was just drawing so many parallels. And this is where it kind of ties in with the books are insanely political. I was finding so many ties with Selena's story, and you want to talk about coercive control. You want to talk about forced labor, the coercive control, and the kind of games that Arobin plays with her. It just made me feel some kind of way, and it made me feel so yucky, so icky. I'm gonna set you all down again. It reminded me, honestly, of like human trafficking victims when they come out on the other side and they talk about all the methods of coercive control that they were under. And that's what Selena was under. And it just really made me feel some type of way. And I wasn't expecting that. But that's the beauty of these kinds of books, is there's a message, there's an underlying message underneath. You just have to look for it, right? Oh, it was so good. So when we start Queen of Shadows, I'm going to say, since this was my first time reading Assassin's Blade, I am going to 100% back up the idea that you should read Assassin's Blade, the novellas, immediately after you finish Heir of Fire, and then read it before Queen of Shadows. Because it basically kind of picks up right where Assassin's Blade leaves off. And the first time that I read Queen of Shadows, I understood everything, but I hadn't read the novellas yet. And now that I have like the background context to these characters and what Selena truly went through when she was under Arobin's control, it's given just such an added layer to this story that I already loved the first time that I read it. So I just want to say fuck Arobin, and fuck anyone who has anything to do with forcing others to do things against their will and sugarcoating it and making it seem like love and making it seem like he's got all kinds of presents for you. I felt some kind of way, and I was like thoroughly disgusted by Arobin's character in a way that I've never been disgusted by him before. It's like, what a revelation. It's crazy. It's making me feel all kinds of things. So that's where I'm at with the books. We're still going to be processing this election for a while, I think. And I'm going to be editing my video and then printing some labels for my business, and I will keep you updated.
All alive. The devil's in the detail, lingered inside. Oh, a holy crime. But how can I hide you without an alibi? It's a lover's fight without an alibi. You took my innocence. I can't wait no longer. I'm playing with the monsters. Everything that brought me alive. Going wrong like nonsense. Playing with the monsters. They brought me alive, but got no alibi. It's a lover's fight without an alibi. You took my innocence without an alibi.
I have decided that this is going to be the last clip of this particular vlog because I just finished Queen of Shadows and it is Sunday. I don't know what possibly possessed me to think I could tandem read these two plus this book all in 1 week. You know, I thought maybe I had more disposable time on my hands than I actually did. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to wrap up and talk about Queen of Shadows, and then we're going to start the next vlog, and the next vlog is just going to be solely dedicated to the tandem read of these two. I've already figured out which resource I'm going to use to like tab up my books for the tandem read, so now we're going to be approaching new territory. I'm very excited. So it took me like 4 days to read this book because there were a few days in there that I actually didn't read anything. So I think I could have finished it much sooner and potentially gotten started on books 5 and 6, but just this week it was kind of a week that was out of sorts for everybody. But I finished Queen of Shadows today, and it does still indeed remain my favorite out of all of them. Like, Air of Fire was there, and then Queen of Shadows was like, hold my beer. And having read Queen of Shadows the first time, and I still loved it then, I gave it a 4.5 stars at that time. I gave it a 4.5 stars again this time. I enjoyed it so much better after I finished The Assassin's Blade, because I mean, I already had that like brief kind of update where I was talking about Arabin and just kind of like seeing a whole new side of the underworld that Selena lived for most of her upbringing. It gave me so much more of a human connection to Lysandra than it did the first time around. And I remember enjoying her character, but to know how they were pitted against each other as teenage women and all the things that Lysandra did to sacrifice to be where she is now at the end of this book, it's perfection. Perfection. It was so good. There was so much that I like didn't remember at all. I just honestly like, I was reading as I was getting toward like kind of like the avalanche at the end of like all the big events happening. I was like, are you sure you read this book? Because there's parts of this that I literally don't remember. It's like my mind was only remembering, let's see. I remembered there was like a meeting in the forest, but I didn't know if that was in this book or if in book 5. I remember the word towers, like the towers that we needed to deal with those, like the dungeon / basement level in Morath. But I didn't remember there was like a whole separate character of Eldie. I didn't remember that she was a separate character that we meet in this book. Or was it the last book? I don't remember. But the fact that we use her to go spy on what's happening in the dungeons there, I thought it was Manon who was discovering it, and it all interconnects with Manon, but that was something where I was like, damn, I really don't remember the storyline. So I made the right call to reread this book. This made me fall in love with the story again. This made me look for all kinds of clues for the big battles to come. I mean, okay, so here's why it's like a 0.5 off from a 5-star read for me. There's just certain things that the way that Sarah J. Maas writes, we've now been given so many books of hers at this point. Her overuse of the word incarnate is still a big gripe of mine. So, like, I rolled my eyes again when we had A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin, and Rhysand is night incarnate, death incarnate. But now here, in Queen of Shadows, Lysandra got her moment, Kaltain got her moment. Everybody was some type of incarnate of something. So there's just like stylistic choices that she makes where I'm like, ugh, I need your editors to like look at this closer. That's me. That's still been a gripe of mine. The other reason why it wasn't quite a 5-star, oh yeah, it was because at the beginning, when we have Adion and Rowan encountering each other for the first time and we're trying to get used to this new dynamic with Aelin, I just found those passages to be like pretty annoying and obnoxious. And Aelin calls them out on it. Like, it's not like, I think Sarah J. Maas like definitely purposefully wrote it that way. And once we kind of get over their fey maleness, then it's like, it made me feel really attached to them in the way that I feel about the Night Court, which is high praise. So it's just like, I just had to get over that initial like alpha male domination trying to happen, and then I could really enjoy everybody coming together. The other thing that was kind of odd to me was like, Rowan is like the guy with the answer, and we don't get any kind of build up to like the truth bombs that he's bringing us. And I kind of wish we would have, but that would have required like a little bit more from Lysandra's point of view, a little bit more from Adion's point of view. So it was like, when Adion is revealed to be Gavriel's son, it would have been nice if we as the reader had been given more time to try and figure that out versus Rowan just telling us. And then the same thing with Lysandra's gift of being a shifter. It would have been nice to get a little bit more time to like discover what this means. First of all, like that shifters are now a thing, but also that Lysandra had held onto this secret for so long. So once again, it's like, you can't really do that unless you get more chapters from their point of view, and maybe those ended up on the cutting room floor. If we as the reader had been given the chance to figure that out versus Rowan just telling us at the beginning, or like just telling us and spoiling the surprise, that would have been nice, but there's still so much to enjoy. So those are the only reasons why I didn't give it a perfect 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know where I'm going to insert this clip, but I'm getting over a cold. So that's one reason why it just took me so long to finish reading. I'm getting over a cold, so my voice is not like ready for projecting and doing videos. All right, so that's it. That's where we'll wrap up this reading vlog, where I am in the status of reading through Throne of Glass. I've now officially finished the reread portion. I'm now going to be moving on to brand new territory, and we're going to start right away. We're going to start tabbing up these books to figure out where I jump to the next one and go back and forth. I've never tandem read 2 books before. This is going to be very exciting. The only other time that could have like ever been a possibility for me was with Game of Thrones. It would have made me enjoy book 4 a lot better in Game of Thrones had I known that it was going to be just a second book with all the same events happening, with all the same characters and that kind of thing, or all the same events happening just from like a different perspective in the world. I think that would have made my enjoyment of that set of novels a lot better. So once I found out that was going to be the case with these 2, that these could be tandem read, I was definitely all on board. And that's where we're going to begin next week's vlog. You know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye!